Hi guys, for today's video, I made sopapillas. These are a fried dough that is served warm. I drizzled some honey on it, some cinnamon, and some powdered sugar, and let me tell you, these are delicious. And not only that, they are simple to make, and I can't wait to show you how to make these so you can enjoy them just as much. In my bowl here, I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and to this, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 2 tablespoons of lard. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix the lard in here until it's all crumbled and evenly distributed throughout the flour. You just want to move your flour around like this as you're breaking up the lard. So now the lard is perfectly blended in here, as is the salt and the baking powder. So now to this, I'm going to add some water. Now I'm going to be using 3/4 of a cup of very hot water, as hot as you can handle it. So I'm going to add the water gradually, and as I do, I'll just be mixing in with the flour. And all I do is I just take my hand and I grab the flour and I just keep going all around the bowl. So this technique is similar to making flour tortillas. Okay, and that's all the water, so I'm just going to keep mixing it in like this. So I added all the water in here, and as you can see, I'm going to need a little bit more. So if this happens to you, just add a little bit more at a time. Not too much. And when I say hot water, I like to take my water and I like to warm it up in the microwave, and I usually do that for like 2 minutes. I would say I added about a tablespoon more than what I needed. Okay, so now I'm going to take my dough here on my clean countertop, and I'm just going to start to knead this for like 2 minutes. Okay, so now after 2 minutes, I'm done kneading it. I like to go like this and kind of form like a ball, like this, take it in circles, roll it around. So you should have something like this. And then I'm going to place it in the bowl. I'm going to get a clean kitchen towel. I'm going to cover this and I'm going to let it rest for 20 minutes. Alrighty, time is up. So now I'm going to take the dough. I'm just going to knead it just a little bit more. Okay, now I'm going to flatten it out like this. I'm going to take my dough scraper. I'm going to cut it in half. And then again in fourths. So now I have 4. So now I'm going to take each one, and it's similar to, like I said, like how you make flour tortillas. I'm just going to take this and make like a dough ball, or in Spanish, a testal. And this is how I do it. Just want to make it nice and round like that. Put that aside, and I'm going to continue doing the other 3 just like that one. Okay, so I have them all done. I'm going to put 3 of them back in the bowl. I'm going to cover them up so they don't dry out. Put this aside. So now I'm going to start working on this one. So now I'm going to roll this out just like I would a flour tortilla. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of flour on my board. I'm showing you the do's and don'ts in case it doesn't roll good. Okay, so now back to rolling. So this is the size that I am going with. And if you can kind of see the thickness or the thinness, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my pizza cutter I'm going to cut these into triangles, into fourths. Just like this. And then here on my plate, I have some wax paper. I'm just going to place these on here. And then I'm going to continue rolling out the other 3 dough balls. Okay, so this was the last one that I rolled out, and I saw these cookie cutters in the store. This one is in the shape of Texas, and then a Christmas tree, and I've never done this before, so I want to see how it comes out if I use a cookie cutter. Well, there's the Christmas tree one right there. Wow, I think I should have did them all like this. So let me continue doing this. Okay, so now that I have them all on my plate, I'm going to get these over to the stove so I can start to fry them. But I would like to mention that depending on the size that you roll your dough balls out will determine the size of your sopapillas. And as you can tell, mine are going to be a little bit more on the larger side, but there is no exact size that sopapillas should be. So in my pot here, I have my heat on medium high, and I'm going to be using 2 cups of vegetable oil. The temperature you want your oil to be will be anywhere between 350 to 375 degrees. Now, if you're like me and you don't have a thermometer, this is what I do. I take a pinch of flour and I put it in there and see if it starts to sizzle. Not quite ready yet. Okay, so I'm going to try it one more time. All right, I can hear that sizzle. Also, when you add your dough in, if it sinks to the bottom, your oil is not hot enough. So now I'm going to start adding them in, and you want to do these in batches. So I'm only going to do 4 at a time. Very carefully place this in your oil. And as you can see, it's starting to puff up. I'm only going to do 3 because they're pretty big. And I want to overcrowd my pan. See how that one is puffing up? And these do not take long at all. You want to cook them until they are nice and golden brown. So do not walk away from your stove. You want to keep an eye on these. So now they're starting to turn a golden color. So I'm going to go ahead and flip them. Over here I have a baking dish with some paper towels and a cooling rack. So when I get them out of the oil, they're going to come right over here. Okay, so both sides are like a nice golden brown. So I'm going to remove them. See? Look how puffy that is. Just over to your cooling rack. As soon as you take them out of the oil, this is what I do. So you want to do this immediately while they're still hot. I drizzle some honey on them. And then I sprinkle some ground cinnamon. And then I dust it with some powdered sugar. So now let me continue getting these in the oil and continuing the process. So I have one of each. I really like the way the cookie cutter ones came out. I think they're really cute. Okay, so if you don't want to do it the way I did with the honey and the powdered sugar, you can do a cinnamon sugar and just sprinkle that on top. But this is the way that I like to eat it. Let's see, which one should I start with first? Let's try the little Christmas tree. Nice and coated with that honey. That's why it's very important that you do that as soon as it comes out of the oil. And as you can see, inside, it's nice and hollow. So if you've never had these before and you see it like that, don't think there's anything wrong with it. That's how they're supposed to be. These are so good. All I need now is a hot cup of cocoa. Make some sopapillas today. You will not be disappointed. And that's the video for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. And as always, I will see you in my next video. Merry Christmas and Feliz Navidad.